Hello and welcome to everyone on our series of webinars on manufacturing and logistics careers. And I want to start this today by thanking the Dayton Region Manufacturers Association and the Dayton Area Logistics Association, as well as the Ohio College Tech Prep Organization for helping us with these webinars and helping us produce and get the webinars out to students and to teachers. I also want to thank Henny Penny and most importantly, Robbie Sams, who we are talking today specifically about being a maintenance specialist. So Robbie, thank you for being with us today.
Welcome, glad to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're gonna run through some questions on your career and what got you to where you are today. And we're just very thankful for your willingness to be with us today. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your job and tell us how it relates to Henny Penny's success. Like what would happen in Henny Penny if there was no Robbie Sams?
Well, I can say for me and my team, without our maintenance department, our company couldn't run daily. We are checking equipment, making sure it's PM so it keeps running, as well as taking care of any down equipment. So basically, we kind of keep things rolling out the door.
That's fantastic. So no Robbie Sams and team, no Henny Penny. I got it.
Correct.
Very important to the success of your company. So tell me, Robbie, you come in the morning, you grab your coffee. What do you do? What happens next? What does a typical day look like?
On a typical day for me, we start with a morning meeting. We discuss all the important projects that are going on and kind of prioritize our list of things to do. And then I go out and really the nice thing about my job is that I have a work order list, and I get to prioritize my day. So I go by my list of what needs to be done that day. And I kind of get to pick and choose how my day goes. So, if I want to wait till later to do something outside because it'll warm up or things like that, I'm pretty flexible in that way. And I really enjoy that part of the job.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you've got your list, but there's some flexibility in the list, and it sounds like you're moving around and very active
Very
all day.
active. Yep. So probably start my PMs, which includes like changing oil or greasing machines. And then if there's a project maybe I'm working on, maybe I start wiring in the morning. And then anytime something goes down during the day, they contact me, and I go check it out and troubleshoot what the issue is and try and get it fixed and get it back up. And then normally go back to whatever project I was working on before. And then that's about it for my day.
Okay, fantastic. And just for the non-maintenance specialists among us, PM is periodic maintenance.
Preventative maintenance. So
Preventative.
It prevents from, yep.
Got it. Super. All right. So how long have you been working for Henny Penny and how long have you been in the industry?
I have been at Henny Penny for 20 years. I have been in the maintenance field for 5 years. I welded here at Henny Penny and also worked on the assembly line. So I've kind of got a good grasp of what goes on in the day-to-day operations. I've kind of come up through from the bottom up, and this is kind of where I always wanted to land. So I'm excited to be in this role.
That's fantastic. And it sounds like you're a perfect example of the ability to move up within a company with a desire to learn and the motivation to take on higher levels of responsibility.
Yes, and with that, like coming up, all the skills I've learned. I was a welder for a while, which helps in my field for fabricating and making tables and things like that for the company. And getting to know the equipment and how it's easy to move and how to help floor employees do their jobs better.
That's great. That is great. So what is that thing, what's the thing that gets you up out of bed every morning and motivates you to get to work every day? What is that thing that you really love about your job?
I really enjoy the challenge of um, something's not working or something is not quite right for one of the employees on the floor. And I love troubleshooting it and solving the problem. I kind of have a competitive edge about me and I want to win. So I really enjoy a difficult problem and trying to overcome that problem. That's my favorite thing.
That's great. And definitely solving that problem gets the company back to max efficiency and effectiveness as quick as possible,
Absolutely.
and gets them back going. So
Yes. And hopefully makes their job more comfortable in some circumstances.
absolutely. All right. So how many hours a day would you say that you spend, working sitting in meetings or standing in meetings versus working in groups versus working on your own?
It really depends on the day. Meetings, we don't have a lot of meetings unless maybe there would be a large line move that we're discussing where things should be positioned or the ease of wiring something to that spot. But very little meetings. Normally a morning meeting every morning, and then I'm off doing my job. If we're on a big project, we'll work in a group of about 6 people, like a construction project, maybe moving a line or building offices or something like that. But mostly we pair up, and then that way it's just kind of nice to have somebody there to hand you tools or walk through a problem, maybe a side of the problem you don't see. So normally we work in teams like that. So it's a nice culture here.
That's great. So the ability to work on teams sounds like it's very, very important at Henny Penny.
It is.
So what's one of the biggest challenges that you would say with your job?
I would say the biggest challenge at my job would be um, that's a tough one. I would say the biggest challenge in my job is maybe um, not having the space to work. You're kind of in a line, and there's people all around, and there also is some pressure to get the job moving and get it going quickly. Make sure that we're getting stuff out the door. So there's a lot of planning to it. There's a lot of making sure that we have certain parts that are high use parts that maybe break a lot. So I would say that planning and the restricted work areas are the biggest challenges for us.
Now that makes a lot of sense because you're having to jump right in on the line where there's people trying to work, and where there's people kind of standing over you saying, "Come on, hurry up! I've got to
Yeah,
get,
absolutely.
I've got to get back to work." Right. So
Absolutely.
that makes sense. It totally makes sense. So it sounds like your work environment is primarily, on the shop floor, moving around different equipment, and maybe going outside to work on equipment as well. Is that what I heard?
Yes, it's actually kind of very diverse. I could be outside up on a roof working on AC unit, or I may be down on the floor replacing a receptacle or anything from moving furniture in offices, hanging pictures. Um, so I'm in like all the environments there is around a factory, really, and that's nice for a change of scenery from time to time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of variability.
Yes.
So what about being on call? Do you ever get a call in the middle of the night and, "Hey, Robbie, can you come fix this?"
Here at Henny Penny, we're very lucky. We were asked if a few of us would like to volunteer to be on call. Um, and I volunteered, and they give you a premium if you come in or called in. Um, but it's very rare that we get called in. Normally, it's a bigger problem that we would get called in to do. We don't have a lot of third shift here at Henny Penny, so those problems are very, very rare.
All right. So lots of personal choice again. It sounds like lots
Yeah.
of flexibility. So
Hmm.
you described a pathway for you that started as a welder. How did you get to where you are from? So start from the beginning. Where how did you walk down the pathway of becoming a maintenance specialist?
So I came to Henny Penny at 18, young guy, kind of a farm kid. So I always enjoyed being around machinery and figuring things out and how to make it work. Got a job in a factory doing assembly. So that was more tools and I was really good at keeping the line moving for the maintenance guys. If an airline would break, I could replace that for them so they wouldn't come. I started working weekends for maintenance, helping move racks, helping learn how to do line moves, and just kind of was almost an apprentice to the maintenance guys. And that got my name out there and my face around a lot. And then I thought I needed to do something to, set myself apart. So I went to night classes at our local CTC, and I took some electrical classes, industrial motors. Just took some electrical classes and got my certificates in those. Just thinking that when a maintenance job did come up, that hopefully that would set me apart from a few more candidates.
That's great. So you saw where you wanted to go. You enabled yourself through some night classes and just by making yourself available and making your name known within the company. So that's 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 a great that's a great example of a pathway to a higher level work. So when you're bringing somebody new into the maintenance department, what does someone need? What is the education and maybe experience that they need?
First of all, a great idea of safety in our department is a good skill to have. And then common sense, work ethic. Um, as for certificates, an HVAC certificate or a electrical certificate or plumbing, millwright, rigging, those kind of certificates will get your foot in the door. And then you'll learn the various other trades and skills as you go. But it is nice to have that one thing that you can kind of hang your hat on and kind of be a little special at.
All right. So coming in with a specialty is a good thing, but it sounds like you could be like you were, a student graduating from high school and coming right into the company. Abs-
Absolutely. Yeah, if you have some common sense on the way of things work and you're interested in the way things work, it should come pretty easy and it should make sense fairly quickly.
That's great. So lots of opportunities for young people or older people who want to change careers who are just willing to dive in and learn.
Yeah, I mean, I did not get into this career until I was 35. I didn't get into maintenance till I was 35.
Mhm.
So, plenty of experience on the floor in fabrication and in assembly. And then I took the little larger step once a job came open.
Great, great. That's a fantastic example, Robbie. Thanks for sharing. So what is that skill that when you have a new employee come into the department into maintenance, what is that one skill that you're looking for that you value the most?
Dependability.
Mm.
Um, make sure that you're dependable, that you're going to be there every day. We get separated for different machines, and you learn a couple of your machines, another guy may know a couple of his machines, and sure, you work on them together a few times, but being dependable and making sure that you'll be there every day. If that machine goes down and you know it like the back of your hand, um, the whole factory relies on you to be available and get that piece of equipment going and get back up and moving.
Absolutely. And it sounds like that trust in teammates is very important. And the way that you earn that is through being dependable.
Correct.
So think about sitting down, maybe tomorrow you get the opportunity to sit down with a student who's thinking about a career as a maintenance specialist. What do you say? What do you say to them?
I would say it's rewarding. Um, if somebody was coming into my field, it helps in so many facets of life. It helps at home. You know how to do things around your house. You know how to do things for neighbors or things like that. You can help out in your community. Um, and if I had any advice to give you, get get a skill, hang your hat on a skill, a trade, um, and then the rest will come. The rest will come, and it should be easy.
That's great. So start with a little bit of education, and they might even be able to do that in high school, right? They could potentially get a certification while they're in high school, and then come and learn a lot more on the job.
Yeah, and with that, I will say I was not a great student in high school, but once I got into once I picked what field I wanted to go into, was more electrical. Um, the education part of it, the classroom part of it became easier. And I was excited to go because it was something tangible. It was something I could see. It was something I could see results. Um, so, being a little bit older and thinking about going back to school after being graduated for a while, I was a little nervous. But once I got in there and I saw that this is stuff and it's just kind of like stair steps. So you learn this, you learn this, you learn this. It was much easier than high school, and it was much more fun and rewarding to go through those night classes than it was in a high school classroom for me.
Mm-hmm. Because it was something that you were excited about, right? You were passionate
Correct.
about learning.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
good. What about a teacher? What would you want a teacher to say, or a counselor, guidance counselor to say to a student who's thinking about a career as a maintenance specialist?
Um, that a career as a maintenance specialist could be very lucrative. You can make a good living fairly quickly with minimal education. So you can be off and running with low debt um, and be in your career field pretty quickly and starting to move up the ladder.
Awesome. That's great advice. That is great advice. So speaking of career paths, your career path sounds like it might have been a little different than the typical, or maybe not. I mean, how do you typically get to be a maintenance specialist?
I know that there are some, like the school that I went to is CTC, and they offer my classes to juniors and seniors in high school. So once you're a junior or senior, at our school, we could go and learn our trade during the day. So as classes more toward whatever you were trying to become, um, and then you search and find a factory or or a company to hire you on. You're kind of an apprentice for a little bit. You kind of get the hard jobs at the beginning, but it's rewarding, and you learn the tricks that way. And then you can become a maintenance tech, and then there's a senior maintenance tech, and then you move on up into management.
Great, great, awesome. So what about wages? If you're okay with talking about that, what are the typical wages of that person that you just described coming in right out of high school at the junior most level? What can they expect?
Um, with a little bit of education, um, maybe from a CTC or a school, you could probably come in starting between $24 and $25 an hour to start here at Henny Penny.
Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
and
And then you could continue to build up through the ranks that you just mentioned.
continue up, and I believe our managers are around $36 to $37 an hour
Okay.
before you go into more engineering kind of stuff. So
Super.
it's a very good living,
Mhm.
um, and you move quickly through that. You really do.
Yeah. Nice livable wage as a potential. and starting out with pretty livable wage, especially as a brand new graduate potentially of high school.
Absolutely.
So Robbie, what did I not ask you that you think is important to share?
I think you covered it all. Again, I would just reiterate: um, get a get a trade and get in early, um, and you'll build your wage and you'll build your retirement, and hopefully you get to retire early. But it's a uh, very rewarding position, um, both at work and outside of work. Um, so I really enjoy it.
That's fantastic. Well, Robbie, thank you again so much for your time today and for being so open and transparent with us about being a maintenance specialist. We really appreciate it. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Henny Penny jumping in and allowing us to spend some time with you. So appreciate Henny Penny and the Dayton Region Manufacturers Association, the Dayton Area Logistics Association, as well as the Ohio College Tech Prep. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And Robbie, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.